ghosts and goblins, trick-or-treaters of all types. Welcome into the bunker of General Gridiron, field marshal of football forecasting. We're about to map out the way this scary college football weekend is gonna go. Will your favorite team be marching to victory? Or will the enemy be taking your battle flag? Halloween means plenty of football teams will be putting on their best costume. The only question is, will it be enough to scare the opponent away? So grab your helmet, and jack-o'-lanterns too, and man those battle stations. We're ready for another round of General Gridiron's football foretelling. Louisville at Wake Forest. The Big Red Bird got a big old win last weekend at the Doak, and that helps ease the pain of earlier losses to Atlantic brethren Clemson, NC State, and BC. Readying for Tobacco Road, the Cards better learn to hold on to the ball, or this will be their fourth divisional loss. And the Deeks are praying that the next Louisville loss happens in the tabernacle known as BB&T Field. This week's prayer meeting convenes there on Saturday afternoon, not Sunday morning, and all heathens welcome. Dave Clausen will give Bobby Petrino another Lawson. The Generals victor, Wake Forest. TCU at Iowa State. Cy the Cardinal has been swirling around in a frenetic frenzy since upsetting the Sooners a few Saturdays back. Can this one loss in the Big 12 program, typically a forgettable football folly, actually give the big boys a run for the renewed conference championship tilt in Arlington? Beat the Texas Toads at Jack Trice Stadium, and you can bet all the corn and Ames that Coach Matt Campbell will have his circuitous clan spinning right for Big D. But lest you forget, TCU has big plans to hop on over to Jerry World in early December, and getting squashed in corn country just ain't in the cards. The Generals victor, TCU. Washington State at Arizona. If you have a little time to kill sometime, go to YouTube and search for Mike Leach press conferences. Luckily, the World Wide Web reaches all the way to the Palouse, and we get to see the crusty curmudgeon of a coach in all his sarcasm and humor. Down in the desert, Coach Leach will be hoping he doesn't repeat the words uttered after the team's last road trip at Cal. Quote, "We were pathetic." And I guess that would include this rather humorous stat: Wazoo's kicker had a 1-yard punt in that loss. The punts will be a tad longer in Tucson, and Luke Falk will actually throw at least one TD pass. The Generals victor, Washington State. NC State at Notre Dame. Number 9 Notre Dame and number 14 NC State rendezvous in Michiana. The Pack is halfway through conference play and are a perfect 4-0. Although this game against ACC light opponent ND doesn't count in the race for Charlotte, Mr. Wolf can get his Pack into the playoff conversation with an upset. Irish eyes will still be glazed over when the NBC cameras turn on. A beatdown over arch-rival USC is still fresh on their minds, and the Dixie Cow College, with a traditionally soft football program, can't possibly come north and lick the Leprechauns. Well, actually, yes, they can. The Generals victor, NC State. Georgia versus Florida in Jacksonville. The glassware is clean, drinks are chilled, and college football fans from Kennesaw to Key West are already gathered outside Everbank Field for the world's largest outdoor cocktail party. There is absolutely no better way to get prepared for Halloween's fright than by getting the demons out before Georgia, Florida, or Florida, Georgia. The football Gators are scary enough this year. Geesh, did you see those unis sported in their loss to the Texas Aggies? Jake Fromm will put on his red and black number 11 costume and try to tame the Gainesville beast. But these reptiles have their tails against the wall, and they're ready to bite down on UGA's national championship dreams. The Generals victor, Florida, and a big upset. Still to come on this Halloween weekend, week 9 of college football forecast. Tech, both of them, head into road contest against top 10 opponents. And at the Horseshoe, the Skull Session will get the natives all riled up. But will that be enough to slow down Saquon? I'll tell you after I run to the back and grab my stash of treats. General Gridiron will be right back.
Hi. You think you're probably sober?
Yeah.
But you're thinking about taking the back roads home, just in case. Why would you do that?
Probably okay isn't okay. Call a cab, a car, or a friend.
Good choice.
Don't be scared, this is General Gridiron back with you. Each week this fabulous football forecast is heard on some of the finest radio stations all over America, including South Pittsburgh, Tennessee, WVOV 1480, The Fan. And in Madison, Florida, WMAF AM 1230, the classic country radio and the home of the Madison County Cowboys. We appreciate all of our radio affiliates. Now, let's get back into the football fight. Texas Tech at Oklahoma. The Raiders are barely treading water at 4-3 and got spanked during their homecoming celebration last Saturday to Iowa State. Double T doubters are popping up more and more, believing that Cliff Kingsbury may have been a pretty QB for him, but he ain't so spiffy as the head man. OU also knows how it feels to lose at home to Iowa State, so this week's game could actually be labeled a support group for victims of ISU gridiron greatness. And channeling their inner cyclone, since the Boomers know a bit more about twisters, they'll rattle Raider Reds windows and get the W. The Generals victor, Oklahoma. Georgia Tech at Clemson. The North Avenue Trade School has outschooled the South Carolina Agrarians on more than one occasion. This year's game in Death Valley pits the Jackets and Tigers in their annual feud at a critical juncture. CU in the Valley has had a week to get past the embarrassing loss at Syracuse and get number 2 back as the number 1. Tech's 2 losses have come by a combined 2 points, and another setback will do them in. The monotonous maneuvering of the Waspers offense will stymie the orange overalls in this upset special. The Generals victor, the Ramblin' Wreck of Georgia Tech. Mississippi State at Texas A&M. The maroon and white matchup renews this time in 12th man country. Both SEC West programs are riding high after impressive conference conquest last Saturday. Reveille will bark up a storm when Bully enters the hallowed halls of Kyle Field, and the geeks in khaki will think their night of yell practice will make the Mississippi Mutt turn tail and run. This will be a dang good game, and when it counts, Dan Mullen will outcoach his fellow visor wearer on the other sideline. The Generals victor, Mississippi State. Oklahoma State at West Virginia. In this defense-optional duel in the Appalachians, the only man that's purposely grown a mullet this century takes his pokes into the Dana Den, and the team with the ball last will likely emerge as victor. Both Big 12 schools have a 3-1 mark, so if they have any desire to chase TCU to the big dance, they had best find a way to roll up the yards. Heisman hopeful Mason Rudolph will be ready, and so will WVU's Will Greer. This one's a toss-up, but the Generals got to pull the trigger on somebody. The Generals victor, Oklahoma State. Penn State at Ohio State. Watch ESPN long enough, and you'd think college football's top individual honor has already been awarded. There's more than a month left in the season, so PSU tailback Saquon Barkley's stock could rise or fall. The Buckeyes are holding on to the hope of returning to the playoff for the 3rd time in 4 attempts, but if that can't be attained, a win over the Nittany Lions and denying Mr. Barkley might be a good consolation prize. For OSU to win, they need to look better than their special black helmets and gray uniforms. The Generals victor, Ohio State. We've already looked at the Sugar-Filled Weekend's biggest battles across the land, but don't take your costume off. There's more just around the corner. We'll be back in just a jiffy to wrap up this week's General Gridiron with our rapid-fire picks. Trick or treat!
Recently, our country has witnessed catastrophic devastation. Hurricanes and flooding have upended lives and livelihoods.
Across this great country, Americans have answered the call.
That special calling that compels us, when others are down, to step up and do whatever it takes.
America's at her best when, against all odds, we come together and lift each other up.
Please donate to oneamericaappeal.org. America needs you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is General Gridiron back with you. We've already maneuvered through this wicked weekend's frontline college football showdowns. Now, it's time to get your pumpkins ready and storm the neighborhood with our rapid-fire football forecast. Halloween candy style. San Diego State Butterfingers Hawaii. Michigan State Hershey Kisses Northwestern. Arizona State Laffy Taffies USC. Kentucky Gobstoppers Tennessee. Purdue Godivas Nebraska. Virginia Tech Fun Dips Duke. James Madison Twizzlers New Hampshire. Wyoming Jelly Bellies New Mexico. Connecticut Tootsie Pops Missouri. South Carolina Starburst Vanderbilt. South Florida Milky Ways Houston. Louisiana Tech Rice Krispie Treats Rice. Maryland M&M's Indiana. Kansas State Kit Kats Kansas. Alabama State Snickers Alabama A&M at Legion Field. Colorado Nestle Crunches California. Arkansas Three Musketeers Ole Miss. Wisconsin Jolly Ranchers Illinois. Texas turns Baylor into Reese's Pieces. And Miami beats the bit of honey out of North Carolina. Well, troops, you can now put your tricks and treats away. We're all out of picks on this week's edition of General Gridiron. We'll be back again next week. Same General Gridiron time, same General Gridiron station. So don't forget to tune us in on the radio, Facebook, and YouTube TV, of course. And don't forget to tell your friends all about the show. Simply search for General Gridiron. This is John Rawl, the General of Gridiron Glory, thanking you for letting me be a part of your haunted weekend. General Gridiron is a production of CRM Sports. For more, log on to crmsports.com.
That'll be all.